The place, a Russian regimental command post. The time, the beginning of the Russian offensive. The objective, before this day is over, cross the river and destroy the defending forces on the other side, utilizing a regiment of motorized riflemen supported by tanks, artillery, and air mobile assets. Once across, drive 20 kilometers ahead, further if possible. The men, part of a Russian motorized rifle company, are to be heli-lifted behind US lines to help the regiment accomplish its objectives. You are now in the US Brigade main command post. The men here collect, evaluate, and plot reports from the task forces under their control. In the next 2 minutes, this active command and control center will be reduced to rubble. None of the people you see will survive. All will become casualties of a planned air mobile assault in support of the Russian overall operation. Watch carefully. What you are about to see take place could compromise US troops and make it difficult for them to stop the Russians. See that it doesn't happen to you. The following will give you an insight into how the Russians fight, how they employ their might, and how they employ their helicopters to support their ground offensives. Russian tactical planners analyzing their experiences have concluded that US forces have the capability to check their armored offensives through the use of anti-tank guided missiles. The Russian army needs a way to degrade US defenses, and the helicopter offers them that capability. To ensure successful offensive operations, Russian armed forces will use the helicopter to neutralize US artillery, anti-tank systems, and tanks before bringing their own tanks into battle. Prior to commencing operations, they increase reconnaissance. With real-time updates, they can determine the size of the assault force they'll need to transport by helicopter. They will always attempt to outnumber opposing forces. An air mobile operation helicopters allow the commander to move troops over natural and man-made obstacles, allowing rapid movements to seize key objectives. The helicopters can be used again in other missions as requested. Air mobility using the Hind, the Hip, and the Hook helicopters gives the Russians a means of quickly penetrating behind US positions, destroying any military defense that may impede their advance, and delay the enemy from moving reinforcements to the forward edge of the battle area. The motorized riflemen used on these helicopter assaults will join up with the ground forces advancing in the main ground offensive. Hinds and Hips, transporting motorized riflemen, are already deep behind enemy lines and are minutes from their objective, the American Brigade main command post. The helicopter pilots' instructions are to land near the objective and discharge their motorized riflemen and return to base at once to await further orders. So far, so good. They have landed right next to the command post. The next minutes will tell if the helicopter assault will succeed. Their timetable is synchronized to swim the river at the same time the US Brigade CP is attacked.
Destroy the codes of the CEOIs. Guard, call division and the task forces, let them know the situation. The rest of you men, grab your rifles. Let's do it!
Kilo 3-4, this is Bravo 445. Do you read me?
Kilo 3-4, this is Bravo.
It happened just exactly as the enemy had planned. They destroyed the command post and severed communication between it and the battalion task force. Correctly believe their helicopters can assist them in maintaining the tempo of their ground offensives. And helicopters are an integral part of the combined arms doctrine. Bad luck, poor coordination, the inability to maintain communication and command and control, to name a few. Your understanding of how to use their helicopters should help you better combat their use of air mobile operations. See that this never happens to you.
Sir, Brigade Commander.
Ahoy, welcome back to the channel. More Broken Arrow. Last episode, we experimented with an Army air cav deck and it was pretty effective aside from my poor micromanagement. So I've come back today and applied the same concept to the Russian army and see what we can build. So first up for recon, we have the VDV Razvedka coming in a Mi-8 fitted out with strelets and rockets. That is to give it some self-defense against other helis and sometimes against jets. We've got 4 units of Spetsnaz with no vehicle, and then the VDV snipers as well, no vehicle. 2 Sarmat 2s with a TOW or an ATGM launcher, and then the Rheostat, which is an unarmed scout vehicle, and I find it to be quite useful. Then we have an Orion here for upgraded optics and some Vikas for close air support if needed. That one transport helicopter, its role is to take all of those recon troops wherever they need to go. Then we have, for the infantry, we have the VDV DSH. They're coming in 2 Mi-8s. These ones have a bit heavier loadout. We've got 4 Concon anti-tank missiles, some Iglas, and some S-8 rockets for self-defense. My anti-air teams have a dedicated anti-air vehicle, the BTR-ZD, with the Igla attached as well. So we've got lots of rockets. One of those is able to carry 2 Igla teams, and I feel like that will give us rapid response. I believe it can be put inside the heavy lift heli as well. Then for our anti-tank teams, we have the VDV Cornet and the VDV Metis. The Cornet team has more ATGMs, but the Metis has a giant heavy machine gun, the Cord heavy machine gun. So that gives them some drastic light killing power. And then 2 units of Guard Motostrelki. Now these guys have a place in the army, but it's not with the infantry, and I'll show you that later. For our vehicle deck, I'm coming with 4 Terminators because I'm feeling like this deck is designed to play the closed-in cities. Granted, I didn't bring any of the breach and clear infantry, but that's okay. The Terminators can do all the breaching and clearing. Then we have 2 T-14 Armatas and 4 Sprut with the SD modification for anti-tank duties, as well as a couple of Sturm S's, just with the Sturm S. It didn't render in there. There we go. So not a very heavy vehicle deck, but I feel like it can do the role that I want it to do. And enough killing power to keep enemy tanks away from our positions. Anti-air, we're going with 2 Pantsirs, which is the upgraded version of the AA system. And then the TOS-1 Burantino, which is the shorter range but more rocket-dense system. Then we have the Nona S, which is a 120mm mortar carrier, as well as the 82mm mortar carrier in the 2S41 Drock. Missile duties are taken care of by the Book M3, and then we have 3 supply trucks, just to keep those supplies moving to the ground-based forces. For the helis, we have the heavy lift Mi-26, able to carry 85 troops as well as supplies. And this is the true workhorse, and it makes the Super Stallion look like an amateur in their lift department. Then we have 2 Mi-35Ms fully spec'd out. I really like this camouflage. I think that's pretty funky. Now, the Hind has a capacity of 8 troops, which is the exact amount that the Motostrelki can in the Motostrelki units, infantry unit. So we bring 1 unit of Motostrelki inside the Hind, and they are our quick reaction. They can get in fast. We add in the ECM because that gives 10% chance to dodge any missile fired at it, which 10% is quite a lot when it's life or death. Followed up with the 2 workhorse helicopters here to help the rest of... I think we've got 4 heavy lift helicopters in the deck. So 2 can do cargo. We've got the large Mi-26, and then we have the 2 infantry-bound helis, or maybe even 3. I've brought, for the air deck, we brought the IL-76. I don't see a lot of use. This thing is a bit of a target, and it can't fly low, so it's really only good for backline or when you have air supremacy. The Su-34, I've built it as a little bit of a mixed bag. It has a cruise missile for precision striking. It's got anti-radiation missiles for the suppression of air defense. We've got lots of R-77s for air-to-air combat. And then we've got another mixed bag here with the suppression of air defense missiles, the arms, as well as 3 R-77s. And the 2 R-73s that this plane comes stock with. And then I have a super cheap CAS aircraft with 6 S-25 rockets and ECM pods and its gun. It also comes with Vikas, so it's not too bad. But I haven't found them to be super useful. I'm not super sold on my air deck, but it's there and it covers all the roles that I need it to cover. I just don't have a lot of aircraft. Let me know what you think about the deck, and let's now jump into a game and see it in action. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, there'll be lots of Broken Arrow this year. Alright, here we are. The standard demo mission map. It's probably one of the most popular maps, everyone picks it every time. We're running the Russian Air Mobility deck. I made 2 variations of this deck. This is where I want to stop the US forces. They're not crossing that line. That's my goal anyway. We may do the same thing on the other side, depending on the map placement. Looks like we'll run up the main road to try and capture that zone that's free, closest to us. So we'll bring in 2 Hinds. Mi-35M, stocked to the gills with anti-tank, anti-air, and we will bring some VDV, snipers, and an Igla team. And there's a little bit more room, we'll bring a second sniper team. We've got room for 16 troops. You can mix and match them. I had planned on just using the motor Strelki in there, but we will go for some variety. I think the scout will be the most pivotal part. Just waiting for the seconds to tick down. I've already spent all my points, bringing in 2 Hinds, some infantry, and 3 mortar carriers. The mortar carriers there are to provide smoke for the early drop if needed to, and just keep the first wave of infantry alive while we marshal up the second wave. Now, we did not use any aircraft, so we are at mercy of a full air spam, but it does look like the friendlies have the jets up, so we'll make the most of that and seize the initiative here. Running the Hinds in along the main road. Actually one of my favorite helicopters, just by looks. I think they're quite amazing looking. Oh, they've gone straight in with the KC-130. That is not a wise move when it's got no air cover. New players will soon learn that there is an air tax, the so-called name for the meta, that you must pay. I feel like I've paid the air tax because my Hinds are all equipped for anti-air combat. And so they can assault those Hornets, the enemy Hornets, if they are seen. But it looks like the enemy just got completely bombed on the spawn point. They've got a few man pads up by the look of it, possibly LAVADs. Right, the Hinds have dropped their gear. We're going to pull them back, just so they can provide some gunship overwatch. We'll get our VDV teams into the brush. We'll keep the machine gun team back here in the building. We'll send the snipers into the brush. Now we beat the Ospreys here, which is rare, I feel. The Ospreys are 200 kilometers an hour faster, so they're very good at seizing the point. But they don't have any air combat ability beside their minigun if it's fitted. I'm going to pull the Hinds back now that we've got a wave of friendly vehicles coming in. First wave of supplies are up. I'm going to station my Hinds here just as a reaction force with supplies nearby. We've got our first anti-air, the Book 3 M3 system. I have not used this one. I actually haven't played a lot of Russian. So all of these units are new to me, but I do know how they work in concept. With the last closed beta, I predominantly played America, and I didn't really play it too much because we weren't allowed to make content. And I kind of wanted to learn the game first. Come into it with a fresh mind so that I can learn it with all of you. Alright, bringing in the next wave of helicopter infantry. We're bringing some supplies and 4 units of VDV infantry. There's a lot of fighting on the other side of the city. We haven't seen any contest on this side. The enemy are at really at risk of losing here, actually. We've put a lot of pressure. The other players are just steaming reinforcements up that side. The player that was assisting on my side is rushing across too. I think what would be prudent for me is to hold this objective rather than join in the bloodbath. Set up a defensive position here in case there is an attack mustering. I don't have very good scout ability at the moment, so I can't be certain there isn't a US tank division just around the corner. Alright, second chopper is in. We are really pressing the enemy hard, and I think all of the players are pushing that side to try and defend that capture zone. Snipers through the city. I've got a support IFV nearby, allied IFV. Alright, get the chopper out. We've got more than enough infantry now to secure this quadrant of apartment blocks. Okay, we'll bring up our mortar carriers so they're within range of our infantry force. We've got a contact here. It looks like a Bradley of some description. Laser capable. Alright, second wave of infantry. Sorry, the third wave of infantry coming in. They're bringing some supplies to top off the chopper. Three units of Spetsnaz and some supplies. Now, that supply dump is very vulnerable. Any artillery strike. We've got contact with IFVs in the city. I don't have any anti-tank ability outside of the RPGs, or the RPDs of the VDV units. We haven't spent money on the ATGM teams yet. Chopper is off the field. We've just got a refund of its points. We'll run the Spetsnaz into the forest quickly. See a HIMARS running back to the Allied spawn point. Sorry, the US spawn point. By Allied, I meant NATO. Right, so the enemy have managed to balance out the capture zone, so it's not much of a risk of us losing. Of them losing just now. We'll see. It's a pretty spirited charge happening on that side of the town. I could participate in this, but I don't think I will. I will keep marshalling up my defense because, you know, you would hate for it to go wrong. We've got some Abrams coming down the center of from the US spawn point, fighting IFVs in the city. We'll just keep bringing in our troops. That is our prerogative. We wanted to hold this section of the city. That was our personal objective. If this game turns out to be a short one, we will do another one straight after, back to back. More units in. No vehicle. We'll go back with the Mi-26 to go and pick them up. KC-130 coming in for an airdrop. Gonna move the sniper teams further up so we've got scout on our side of the battlefield. I don't think we've seen open combat. Try and hit him with artillery between the buildings here. Small mortar system, won't do too much damage, it'll have to get a direct hit, I think. Does look like that Bradley might be mobility killed. And its scout ability is down. It's not moving. Yeah, but now it's dead. Finished off by RPDs. Let's bring our Hinds down to see some action. Load up the Mi-26 for its third run. We'll bring in some Igla teams and a few Cornets. The last game that I put up was the Army Air Cav video, and in that mission my team were very passive. And I felt like if I had have helped them, if they had have helped me just a little bit, we may have been able to at least break the stalemate. In this case, I seem to be the passive one, but I'm just trying to play it properly. Felt like I blew my initiative too early in the last game I've televised. I don't want to blow the initiative. So we'll keep advancing so we're gaining ground at least. One of the things I'm really enjoying about this game is the sound design. I think the soundtrack and the sound design itself are amazing. The soundtrack really does have that old school RTS vibe, you know, that real gets you really pumped for combat. Come on, get the motor strokey out. That chopper has so much lift capacity for infantry, it's great. You could probably put your whole deck in it. And arguably, it's more useful than the IL-76. Oh, that looks like it. We've overrun the points and that's game. So I did nothing, and we're definitely going to play another one. 2 kills, no losses. Oh, look at that kill death ratio. Amazing. I really don't care about that. Okay, second match using the Russian air mobility deck. I have a second version of this deck. The special operation deck. It removes more of the choppers and adds in more of trucks for logistics, and it focuses the helis all on the Mi-35. If you want to see that deck, let me know. I'll probably upload it anyway. Alright, so again, like the last game, we're going to go with the opening Mi-35s. Go with the 2 motor strokey this time. Looks like one of my team is going to assist me in heading that position, so we will save a few points and we'll bring 4 mortar carriers instead, and a couple of trucks with supplies. Enough for 2 trucks. Make sure to have the logistics up early, so you're not trying to react later. Alright, so we're coming at this, where that little marker is, we're just got to full steam it there in the Hinds. Alright, we've got no aircraft, so this is a little bit dangerous. But I was saying about the air tax last game. I don't think the air tax needs to be paid so much. I just think you need to be aware of it. Look at that convoy rushing headlong into the city. It's definitely a good looking game. I haven't bothered turning up the graphics to maximum. I probably should. But I just wanted an even running experience with no dramas. Alright, so there we are outclassed with the... Oh dear. Alright, so luckily our Hinds are equipped with 4 Iglas each. We haven't taken any damage yet. Oh, there goes a missile almost hitting us from the command room. So we spent all of our Iglas on our Hinds just then. But the US only sent a Joint Strike Fighter and an F-18. So we were able to ward them off. The Joint Strike Fighter doesn't have sidewinders. It has AMRAAM, so it can't fight helicopters. Alright, we're making it there. We have no Iglas, so if we run into an Osprey, we'll be in trouble. We'll just rocket him, I guess. First units of motor strokey down on the capture point. Using the building as cover from any SAMs that might be looking at us. Lav ADs are fast. Stinger teams can get there pretty fast in an Osprey, so you have to be very careful. Alright, we got 4 units of VDV machine guns. We'll bring them on in one of the Mi-8s. Alright, second heli on its way. We'll bring our Hinds out to get resupplied so they've got more Eaglers on board. We'll move up our line of mortar carriers. We don't have many infantry. I forgot to drop off one of the units of Mobilty. I'll send them back to get dropped off. Bring in some Spetsnaz in a truck. It'll take them a while to get to the battlefield, but there is a fairly strong presence in the city, so I can afford to take the time. So our whole team has gone the same way, and the US forces have pushed into the other part of the city. Dropping off that unit of Mobilty that I was supposed to drop before, we'll push them further in. Supply drop is ready. Capture the point. Send the truck home. Mortar carriers are moving into a better position. Our machine gunners are now arriving on station. Alright, first sighting of the Americans. They've got Patriots and they have a few Venoms and a Sea King. Sea Stallion, sorry. Running around the background. Alright, the Hinds are almost reloaded. Units of Spetsnaz are now entering the city. About a minute or two away. Oh, the first of the ballistic missiles is out. That means we will need to help participate in the anti-ballistic missile defense. As before, their job is to put out smoke screens and try and get any opportunistic kills on supply trucks or infantry that move into their range. Helis are resupplied. We'll move them out of the way. Yeah, we do need to set up a defense over on that side. So we'll start marshalling troops up to react to that and send a reactionary force over, probably in the large heli carrier, the Mi-26, the Hook heli. We'll go and have a look over here with the Hinds. So those are MLRS systems using 2 ATACMs by the look of it. Or it's just a bunch of HIMARS from 2 players. Got MLRS there. Nowhere near within range, I don't think. No, we are not near it. We have to creep up a little bit closer. Those guys are not really assault infantry, but the only ones we've got here. We'll move up some Spetsnaz with them. Letting the points build up so we can bring a bunch of units on at once. Our AA has arrived. We have 6 long-range missiles. Nowhere near as good as a Patriot, though. Alright, bring the Mi-26 over to the reinforcement point, and we'll bring on the infantry. I decided to bring on the Pantsir as well. The amount of missiles they're lobbing at us, we're going to get oversaturated. It looks like they're making a push. We need to hurry up. The Hinds are going to move to counter if they appear. Infantry have arrived into the chopper. Plenty of room. Bring in our anti-tank systems. Well, these guys are more hybrid. Heavy machine gun and a single ATGM system. We'll turn on the radar. Oh, we're taking in sniper fire. Alright, there is a scout sniper in the area. He's up in the building. Just seen the tracer fire come out of it. The single skyscraper on this street. Let's put some smoke out for our infantry. Oh, there's an AV-track coming. Spetsnaz moving up to support. Need to watch out for counter battery fire. Single line of smoke should be okay. Let's move up. Alright, the choppers could have some opportunistic shots here. What if we got snipers in the forest here? 2 snipers. Alright, let's hope they don't have too much AA. We'll try and get some speculative shots in. There's a SHORAD there. It's going to fire Hellfires at us. Get missiles out and pull back. Oh, one direct hit with a Hellfire. That's not good. Get low. I think he can shoot them over that. That ballistic missile was intercepted by the S-300. Oh no! He's got us dialed in for artillery. We'll pull the Spetsnaz back. They're too valuable. The other infantry are going to try and make a move. We can stay just out of line of sight. The sniper's seen us now. But the convoy on the roads just lit him up. That apartment building ceasing to exist. Or the apartment unit inside. Right, infantry are stacking up well. These guys might be a bit of a loss. Need more supplies in. 2 trucks worth. They'll be there in 2 or 3 minutes. That AV-track's pushing us hard. He's going to run into our RPDs. Su-34, I'm going to use the cruise missile. Press P for a tactical missile strike. And this aircraft is also fitted out for air combat and suppression of air defense. So those Patriots will get a couple of missiles too. Cruise missile is away. Air defense missiles. Oh, that one's going to catch us. Yep. We managed to take out an AA system and the MLRS with the cruise missile. That's pretty good trade, I think. Probably an even trade points-wise. Few more infantry. We need a few Igla teams as well. I reckon this force will be ready in another 2 to 3 minutes. Allies set up a defensive line at that other point. And I will move to assist him if he comes under attack. Got supplies on the way, they're almost there. Igla teams. I spoke too soon. Our ally is calling for defensive aid over on that side of the battlefield, so we are ready. Oh, there's one more Igla team that we can bring on. Another ATGM team. The more we can bring, the better. Our Hind managed to get out of that. We lost one. We'll go and resupply here at the AA station. We've got an Osprey coming in. Let's call him out. Trying to flank in here. Ospreys are very fast, so you've got to get onto them. Our Pantsir is hit with a missile. It's going to run into our air defense screen here too. The Pantsir with extreme range with radar on. You're not sneaking around that side. The marshland would be a much better side to flank, I believe. Alright, we've got a tank there, so we need to put up a smoke screen just to support those infantry in that tower. The tank outranges the infantry by quite a margin. So I'm going to trust that this side of the battlefield will be held by my allies. That's where the bulk of our force is. I'm going to move the rest of my infantry over to the other side. Alright, they're almost on board. Almost a full heli. Still got room for 20 more troops, but that'll have to do us. Looks like the Ospreys are coming in. There's an artillery barrage. The zone is being decapped. Yeah, we need to hurry. The arrival of all that infantry, if we can space them out well and set up a killing field, they will be effective. Alright, pushing in. We'll land here, just near the bridge. Hopefully out of sight of any man-pads. Bring in a Terminator to support them. Oh, there. We've got Abrams here. That's okay. I've got enough teams of ATGMs, I think. Alright, we've run out of supplies down to the south, so I'll bring in some more infantry in the trucks. We'll move them closer to the fight. Spetsnaz can move up into a line now to watch that approach. Set up a line of smoke here. In case my allies have to retreat, they can fall through the smoke. Oh, they're really taking that point now. We need to act. Alright, we've got quite a contingent of infantry here. Let's spread everybody out. Chopper being shot down not far away. We've got 3 Igla teams, a bunch of machine gun teams, 3 ATGM teams, and the rest are infantry really well suited for defense. Right, tanks are sighted, but we're not ready to fight them yet. We've got an ATGM team in the open. We need to cross. Only the Igla team can charge because they are assault infantry. Weapons teams cannot charge. Alright. I'm going to move this chopper up here to see if it can be useful. Try and take out some of these tanks. There's a Lav AD out the back. So we'll hit the deck. Come around the forest. Got a supply dump spotted. Let's move the infantry further into the complex here. Factory complex. Okay, the ATGM team has a pretty good sight of that entire sector. How many tank destroyers can we fit in a heavy lift chopper? Our Hind engaged 1 Abrams. Took him down. Got a couple of Bradleys. Oh no, we're taking missile fire, despite being low. We've been spotted. Try and bring them out. Can't quite hit them with artillery. Bring in more tank destroyers. Looks like we can only fit one on board the heli. 18 tons worth. We'll quickly drop it over there and try and get the others. Alright, we just had a disconnect, but fortunately this game lets you rejoin straight away. As long as the game's still active, and it took me a minute to do that, and it looks like someone scattered my infantry everywhere. I'm pretty sure your allies get control of your infantry if you disconnect, so we aren't in the best state, but I'm going to pull this back. ATGM team hitting that Abrams behind the building. No, it's hit the truck or shipping container in between. Is that a cruise missile? Yes, it was. Get into the building. Our infantry got really caned while we were not in the game. Talk about a handicap. The Hind is still alive. Oh, our artillery team is gone. What do they do? Charge them into the battle? Jesus. That's not great. It's actually not great at all. Tank destroyer, we've got a Terminator there, we've got 2 tank destroyers on the field, we've lost our heavy lift chopper wherever the hell that's gone. But at least we get to come back to the game, I guess. The Terminator shooting straight down the road with its ATGMs. You can fire them very quickly. Oh, we're going to take some damage, so we need to move out of the way. What is that? It's firing hellfires at us. Almost killed, not quite. Pop the smoke and get into the forest. He's out of line of sight. I'll have to experiment with that vehicle. That's quite a clever anti-aircraft vehicle. It can shoot at helicopters with its hellfires. And they sort of do top-down attack as well, so we can hide behind cover. I'd previously used that vehicle as the linebacker modification. The Hind is bringing over a unit of Mobilty there to prop up the numbers. We will have to call in supplies to fix up our Terminator. That SHORAD is quite powerful. Oh, we're taking fire from a LAV. ATGM, we've lost sight. He's backed up into the forest. We're going to get this Mobilty down and we'll be able to capture this zone. Firing Iglas at an Osprey that's sitting there above the forest. Uh-oh, there's a big wave of ballistic missiles inbound. Hopefully the umbrella covers us from those. Get in the building. Hind is escaping. Oh, the ballistic missile slamming into the area just in front of his flight path. Supply truck has arrived. Going to fix up that Terminator. And we'll send the Hind over here to get a resupply. We're taking fire. Lav AD managing to see us from that far away. There must be a scout nearby. Took out our Hind as it was descending into the clearing. That is unfortunate. They are pretty expensive. Not the sort of thing you really want to throw away. There were a lot of useful tips in the comments section on the last video that I've put up, so I do appreciate all those tips that everyone had. Keep them coming. We have a second Hind with a unit of Mobilty just sitting over the canal. Or the river. The watery stuff. Allied KA-52 heading in to shore up the defences. Watch out for the SHORAD. Right, now that our unit of Motostrelki took that capture zone, two allied players are pushing an armored rush up the center, but I have a feeling it may be well defended. We haven't seen much contact on the other side of the city. We have a prowler coming in. He's just took out our anti-aircraft system, too slow to deactivate the radar. But we still have the Panzer here waiting for him. Opening fire with its cannons and also the missiles. Supply truck, we need to pick up that supply so it doesn't get pounded by artillery. And we'll reposition Panzer. Oh, there are our artillery. Just there. I thought they were dead. Drop those guards. Get them down. Get them down. Right, more VDV. We're going to drop them in the town here. Just outside, near the tree line. We do need more supplies. I've got to get into the habit of bringing 50 to 100 supplies like every couple of minutes. That armored push has made it further than I expected. That can only mean one thing. They are marshalling up for an attack. Possibly on the other side, or they're setting up a very strong defensive position in that city. So there's two things it could be. We need to make sure we scout out all of the infantry and destroy them. There's quite a large column of infantry in there. Armored vehicles making its way up towards the capture zone. Got an aircraft full of 1,000 kilos of supplies is all we could afford. It's too quiet over this side. Way too quiet on that side. Turn the radar back on our AA system. We have Marine Raiders here in the forest. Did they retreat? Yes, they did. Push them harder. Oh, we've got a barrage of missiles coming inbound. I'm just going to move them out of the building just in case. Tank destroyer moving up to the tree, enters the tree line. We do need to bring some scouts in. They can marshal up for a heli lift. And they can go and get picked up now. We've got the second heli there waiting, loading up the ATGM teams. I'm going to push that tank destroyer up here. They do like that tree line for MLRS. I'm going to put a line of smoke here. That's all I can really do. Once the line of smoke is up, I will then send a barrage behind it. There's that marshal for attack. This is the preemptive artillery barrage before they come screaming up the street. So we're going to drop more smoke closer. Send a fire mission up the street. Drop off those supplies. Alright, the teams here are loaded up. The Cornets. Gonna try and be in two places at one time. I'm wasting a lot of time watching them do it, but I enjoy it. It's pretty fun. I'm not here for win rates. I'm here to enjoy the game for what it is. But we will try to win. Alright, let's go. We are not far from the next objective. We could start to have the initiative here in this stalemate with only 15 minutes remaining. We don't want to penetrate too far with the helicopter. So I might just go to this clearing here, drop down low. Alright, we'll start seizing some ground now, so we can watch our allies flank. Set up a line of ATGMs there. They'll have an excellent view down that main street. Those supplies should be enough to get everyone back to fighting status. Pull out the hip. We also need to repair the hind. Alright, with three hips on the field, we've got to get up our ATGM line. Try to spread them out just a little. Move up the machine gun teams. Try and take that next tree line. Send some scouts to assist that tank destroyer. Call in another Panzer. Oh, we've got Abrams pushing. We've got infantry pushing. I'm going to send out a fire mission. These ones are high explosive. Trying to take out those Marines before they do any damage to that tank. Alright, load these choppers up. We need to get these guys back in the fight. I didn't really get to do anything with them because of that disconnect. Cruise missiles inbound. We've got 4 launched. Kind of just spamming them everywhere. Unless he's memorized where all the AA systems are. Cruise missiles do tend to be obstructed by large buildings too, so keep that in mind when you're firing them. I think that aircraft, the Tu-160, can carry 12 cruise missiles. So spam P key 12 times and then click wherever you like. I think that's what he did. Okay, what is next? We need some large mortar support. The hips are arriving with the rest of our infantry. 3 Eagler teams, 3 machine gun teams, and 2 ATGM teams. The Metis is a lower quality ATGM team, but higher quality infantry fighting team. Right, our infantry, our artillery have arrived. Scouts can't see anything. We'll proceed further into the fuel refinery, it looks like. If our ally could sneak those vehicles around the outside to get those attackums, I think they are. They're probably the MLRS launch version. There's another wave of them. They're just non-stop. Let's push up and give these guys some heli support. Hide behind them. That way, if a helicopter responds to their presence, we can shoot them down. I think we're pretty safe. We're just being a little bit too cautious, but I don't want to lose this ground either. Alright, we have contact. Our scouts are not going to be able to deal with that by themselves, so we need to pop smoke again to pull them back. could laze the building, but I don't think I have anything that can precision strike.
Мы всегда идем первыми. Вертушки здесь. Координаты
Let's try and bring the Hind further up north.
Армейская авиация слушает.
If we get spotted, it's dead straight away. Those scouts are retreating. Looks like they've been finished off, unfortunately.
Здесь.
One decent airstrike on that building would be useful.
Вертикальная на связи.
Uh-oh. We have a fighter and he's going to fight us.
Атакую противника.
It's not firing the Iglas. Fire. He's out of range.
Применяю оружие. Летим туда.
I think I'm stun locked. Yeah, it wasn't doing anything. I was trying to raise the helicopter.
Вертушки здесь. Голубые береты на связи.
Too bad. Should have been more aggressive. There's a push of Bradleys trying to come down towards us, or are they going to try and cross the bridge?
ПВО слушает. ПВО ждет целей. Вертушки на приеме.
We have one Hind left. We have the 3 choppers. I'm keeping those in reserve. I would like to put some pressure on them in the dying moments of the game, but it looks like my ally is pushing that capture zone, so we're going to have to move up and assist them. These are not assault infantry. I don't know why I'm using that for such a reason, but that's all we've got at the moment.
Транспорт на приеме.
Got our unarmed scout.
Заводи мотор. Новая точка получена. Сигнал чист.
I haven't seen much use of the recon aircraft, so let's bring one in and see what we can find. That building was toppled. All the infantry inside are now dead.
Держи ухо востро. Боевая машина.
Keeping these scouts in quiet mode, just so we can get as close as possible to the capture zone.
Авиация слушает. Вылетим к цели. Это пехота. Вертушки
Alright, let's bring them in now. Don't think there's too much in the way of anti-air defense.
здесь. Расчет здесь.
The Hind's going to make a run and try and draw it out. We will bring the heavy mortars up.
На связи. Выдвигаем.
The hips are making their run. The scouts are getting slaughtered. We have a lot of javelins in that building there. Get back to cover. I'm really just using them as a scout force.
Установлен новый маршрут полета.
Now we have a lot of Igla teams. I may redesign this deck to have better infantry. I might bring more Motor Jockey. They are really pushing that other side, but I just can't commit to helping them. I'm here. This is the one we're going to push. If we can capture that zone, we may negate any other push on the other side. Friendly line looks to be pretty secure for now.
Армейская авиация слушает. Принял.
Few shells out on the building, couple of hits.
Пехота ждет приказа.
Get these guys to cover.
Пехота на приеме.
There's a lot of supply bases over there.
Здесь вражеские вертолеты не пролетали.
Spread them out a bit so they don't get all nuked by one airstrike. ATGM team there with a good look on the capture point.
Вертушки здесь.
There's a large tank pushed down this side, but our ATGM teams may be able to help stop it.
Десант готов.
They're running back up towards their own capture zone.
Осмотримся сверху. Валюта обновлена. Туры, слушай.
Let's make use of this heavy mortars.
Готов.
Trying to hit this building here where we know the infantry are.
Пехотинцы ждут ваших приказов. Понял.
Keep the Terminator here on the corner. We may be able to shoot an ATGM right up that street.
Пехота здесь.
He's just a little bit out of range of our RPDs.
Координаты. Сделаю.
I just need more stuff on this side so we can make a decent push.
Огневая поддержка на связи. Тук-тук.
Cruise missiles coming in.
Пехота ждет приказа. Минометный расчет на связи.
Some creeping fire across that supply depot. Another cruise missile. ATGMs are starting combat with that Abrams on the street. Going to try and airdrop some guys. Or is this just a huge waste of points? I've already got the choppers out. This is where my planning fails. Let's try, I don't know, I feel like I'm going to lose them all. Let's try something else. Yeah, there's a solid push happening over this side. We've lost all of our assets.
Армейская авиация слушает.
Right, let's pick up these guys.
Вас понял, двигаемся.
We've got 3 minutes. If we can just creep across into the zone.
Это пехота.
Get the ATGMs with an overwatch.
ВДВ слушает. Боевая машина.
Tank destroyer is taking fire. I just called in an Su-25, but I'm not going to be able to micro it. Wasted the points on that one.
Двигаемся. Пехота на приеме.
Got a Set V3 pushing forward. Our teams will take care of that. We are running low on ammunition.
Вертикальная на связи.
Go and pick up these supplies and bring them forward.
Ветерком.
Got more coming in. I should not have called that Su-25 on. That was a silly move. But every game's a learning experience.
Пехотинцы ждут ваших приказов.
We lost the infantry that were charging the point. We don't really have anything that can test. We lost all of our artillery that counter-fired us while we weren't watching. You've really got to stay focused when you are engaging the enemy. You sort of got to hang around and watch what happens after you send out artillery. Make sure there's no counters, or make sure you move them straight away. Another lesson to be learned. Oh, the Marine Raiders, they're gonna make... They will mess us up. Yeah, we've run out of options. Minute to go, 90 seconds. And the enemy are capturing this zone over this side. We do have points available. I could bring in an airstrike. But I will try and do air superiority just to try and get that fighters out of the air. 80 seconds to go. Our fighters on the deck.
Вертушки на приеме.
It's been shot down by AA.
Борт на связи.
We'll see if we can take out some anti-air. Try and help this Tu-160 out.
Предельная тяга.
Our missiles away.
Двигаемся на базу.
Turn away. Afterburn.
Ложимся на новый курс.
Right, that was a successful strike. 40 seconds to go though. The enemy are going to capture that zone. And we've been taken down by AA. Alright, so that wasn't through lack of trying. We were focused on that side of the battlefield in the early stages, but we decided to move to this side to stop an attack. We came within a hair's breadth of taking the other zone. We just didn't have the actual fighting capacity, so I needed more tanks, or I needed more capable infantry. So I feel like this deck is really good in the early stages, and a good player could probably do really well with it. I just don't have the micro and the skill level there yet. Like, we've got a terrible death loss ratio, but maybe next time we will do better. Anyway, let me know what you would like to see, and I will catch you next time. Broken Arrow, Commander Tyrael, out.